Welcome to Brilliant Talks, the series that uncovers the innovations and insights that empower people with hearing loss to live brilliantly. In this episode, we'll be talking about the importance of conversation. And joining me in the studio today, we have two guests, Erin and Humanyu. You're both working at Signia. Welcome.
Thank you.
Why are conversations so important?
Well, conversations are incredibly important because it's really a lot of the basis of how we live every day when we go to work or when we spend time with friends, family, if we are in school. I mean, everything that we do when we communicate information, when we receive information back, that's conversations. Mm-hmm. And if you are missing out on those conversations, then you're missing out on so much.
But what happens if let's say, I'm not a part of this conversation? What happens to me as a person?
Well, if you find yourself having to pull back from these conversations for whatever reason, maybe you're struggling to hear, then you're going to be losing a lot of your social connections. You're going to probably start to feel isolated. A lot of people get lonely. We have a lot of research evidence pointing to impacts on mental health, pointing to impacts on significantly reduced quality of life, and also that when you start to pull back from these social situations, it increases your risk of things like dementia. So it's really, not just about the conversations, but what the conversations bring to your overall well-being. And if you lose the conversations, your well-being is going to decrease.
But why do people pull back? I mean, you could keep on trying to join the conversation, but is it because it's a sign of weakness that you can't hear what people are saying and you can't join the theme?
Well, I can actually give you a personal example a little bit on that topic. I can kind of imagine a bit how that feels because I moved to Denmark 6 years ago, and while I am trying very hard to learn Danish, I'm still at a pretty basic level, and I sometimes find myself in social situations, especially with other parents from my daughter's school, where I can follow main points of the conversation in Danish, but I find that I won't speak up, I won't participate even to say something in English because I'm not sure that I understood well. I know I missed some words. And I also don't want to stop people and ask them, can you say that again? Can you translate that for me? Because I don't want to be a burden on the experience. So instead, I sit there, I stay quiet, and if I have things that I want to say, I don't say them because I'm not confident.
It holds you back then. It holds you back from interacting with people around your families and friends.
Exactly. And so I don't get to, know them as well as I would like to. I don't get to enjoy that, experience in the moment in the way that I would. And from, what I know when I worked as an audiologist in a clinic, these are the same observations that I would hear from people that come to see me.
Explain to us, what is a conversation if you sort of break it down?
Conversation is quite complex. And if I need to break it down, there are two parts of it. One thing is, of course, the ability to listen. This is one aspect of it, and then the ability afterwards to contribute. But this is not the entire story. When you're breaking conversation, you need to understand is how the conversation is or the layout of the conversation. For example, I give you an example. We are here. Take a picture. How do we do an interpretation when you look at the picture to make the picture sound the acoustic coming through it? That means how do we tell the hearing aids that from what is happening, and we can only do it by analyzing the sound. But the sound, you need to further analysis, meaning actually understanding where are the conversation partners, where are they located, situated, are they moving, are they standing? Also, when we're sitting here, how's the background noise here? Okay, here it's quiet. So all those information from the picture that you get, but you need to translate this from the sound and giving this or from the features that are developed into the hearing aid to get those information. That's the beginning of it.
Now it's time to have a few experiences from one of our audiologists. Welcome to you, Taryn. You are from South Africa.
Hi, Karen. Thank you so much for having me here.
Tell us, what are the biggest challenges?
Gosh, I think there's so many different varieties of challenges within the patients. And one of the challenges would be that a lot of these patients live with a large number of people in their homes. And so the gran lives with their children, who lives with the grandchildren. And that's a large background noise environment. They've got multiple TVs. They've got multiple, scenarios going on at home. And to help our patients to manage that is quite challenging sometimes.
How can you guide them towards choosing hearing aids as a help?
Look, I know in my experience, I love to focus all the time on expectations. When patients come in and they're spending a lot of money on these amazing technological devices, their expectations are high, and rightfully so. So they expect to now be a normal hearing person, and their families expect that as well. So from the minute they walk into my practice, I find it so important to set those expectations and to allow them to understand that their quality of life is going to change dramatically, but it's not that they're going to be a normal hearing wearer. They're not going to hear perfectly, but they're going to hear so much better than they did before.
So how can healthcare professionals be guides for those people who need to do something about it?
Well, I think that it's very important to establish a really good relationship as an audiologist or a hearing care professional, to establish a good relationship with the person who's coming into your door, because they're coming to you for help, and they're coming to you because they trust your expertise and they want to make an improvement in their life. So, being a partner and on the side of the wearer, coming to a hearing care professional with the goal of having them as your partner can really set you up, I think, in the best way to take the tools that are available to you, that fantastic hearing aid technology that we're so lucky to have, and really use it, put it into your life, and be confident with it. Try it out. Because I think, as you said, Humayun, if you are somebody who has previously pulled back because you weren't confident, you weren't comfortable, it can be a little bit scary to suddenly be hearing a little bit differently, a lot better, but then have to retake that step to put yourself back out there. It's not going to be something that's instant. It's going to be something that takes some steps and takes a partnership with your hearing care professional and friends and family.
You will get your confidence back.
You will get okay, that's a good point. I mean, yes. That changes a lot for the wearers. And let's get back to you, Taryn. You're still with us. Can you give us 3 messages of importance to you?
Number 1, always amplify early. So if you suspect hearing loss, even if you don't, go for your baseline hearing test, because if a hearing loss is starting to develop, we need to catch those hearing losses early. Our primary concern is we need to stimulate those hair cells in your inner ears so that we avoid further decline. By wearing hearing aids, you can prevent or you can slow down that deterioration of your hearing loss. That would be one big message. And another message is, when you do find out that you need hearing aids, you need to look at your expectations. Don't expect for you to suddenly, it's not a black and white experience, it's not a miracle, but it will absolutely change your quality of life. Invest in your quality of life. I often say to my patients, how much would you pay if you lost an arm? You've lost your ears. We need to invest in our health and in our quality of life. And like you say, conversation is everything. It's communication, it's our relationships, it's our work, it's everything.
Wow, Taryn, 3 fantastic takeaways for us in the studio, for everyone joining. Thank you for taking part of this great conversation.
Thank you very much for having me.
Erin, let's sum it up. I know you have a few bullets for our wearers out there. What are the messages you have today?
I think that my biggest takeaway for people out there would be going back to that topic of confidence. Of if you're somebody, or if you know somebody who seems like they have withdrawn a bit and is not as active in life and doing the things that they once did and enjoyed, that getting hearing aids, using that technology as an aid, and then putting yourself back out into the world and contributing to the world and letting yourself enjoy living in it is going to be, I think, one of the best things that you can do for yourself.
Do you have any?
Do you know why it's called Signia Integrated Experience?
Not really, but tell me why.
Integrated is because you want to integrate people in that were before isolated or outside, to bring them into the conversation. That's the key thing.
That's why we're having this talk today. Thank you, Humanyun, and thank you, Erin, for joining. We have more guests on the next episode to keep the conversation going. Be brilliant and see you next time.